So I hope you're feeling well this morning, you've had a good week. We are going to start in a cross-legged or kneeling position, whichever is most comfortable for you. And then closing down the eyes and just take a moment to arrive here on your mat space. So we'll spend a little bit of time here this morning just settling, tuning in, connecting to the physical body, mentally, but also to our breath as well. So make any little adjustments that you need to, shift on your sit bones, and just make sure that you get as comfortable as you can this morning. And then once you find a comfortable position, close down the eyes or soften the gaze if that's more comfortable for you. And then thinking about rooting down through the sit bones, so growing nice and tall through the spine, becoming heavy through the sit bones, a little tuck of the chin so we've got length in the back of the neck. Good. And the shoulders are softening away from the ears. Imagine someone's drawing you up from the crown of the head. So we're nice and long, just arriving. And as always with your yoga practice or any practice that you do, just work with what's going on with your own personal body. So if you're working with limitations, any injuries, then you know your body better than anyone else. So just distinguish between what's discomfort in a pose, maybe through tightness, and then what's pain. And we don't want to be working through any pain at all. So just notice what's going on in the mind. Is it with you this morning or is it elsewhere? Trying to encourage it to join you on the mats, becoming present. And just notice that if your mind drifts off, bringing it back to where you are. So the breath is really useful to help bring the mind back. And then we're going to start connecting to the breath. So coming into our three-part yogi breath. So to start with, bringing your hands to your tummy and bring the fingers roughly over the belly button. So we want the middle fingers to just touch. And then as we inhale, take a deep breath in through the nose. Feel the sense of expansion through the tummy. So imagine you're inflating a balloon, the fingers may part. And then as you exhale, soften and the fingers draw back together. Good, one more time like that. Deep inhale. And exhale. Good, and then bringing the hands to the ribs. Imagine you're giving yourself a little hug. As we inhale, feel the ribs expand. And then exhale, feel the ribs draw closer together. Good, one more like that. Deep breath in. And exhale. Nice, and then taking the hands to the collarbones. As we inhale, feel the collarbones rise. And exhale, soften. Again, rise. And soften. Good, and then release the hands to the thighs. Either the palms down or up, whatever's most comfortable for you. And then come to your regular, normal breath. So breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, and just allow the belly to rise and fall as we inhale and exhale without pulling it in, without holding on for the moment. Just allow it to be natural with the breath. Good. Just making sure that we're easing any tension through the jaw, an area which we often store physical, emotional, mental tension in. So just think about, especially if you clench your jaw, grind your teeth, get stressed or anxious, so we're nice and soft, so maybe take the jaw side to side, easing that tension out. Good. And then slowly flicking the eyes open. And we're going to start with our neck this morning, so focusing on mobilization, getting a little bit of space within the neck. So to start with, draw the chin in towards the chest. Feel an opening through the back of the neck, maybe even through the upper shoulders. Good, and then slowly take the chin towards the right underarm. So then we're targeting different muscle fibres within the neck, the upper shoulders. Good, and then the right ear gently comes to the right shoulder as we open through the left side neck. Good, and slowly rotate the head back as we take the left ear to to the left shoulder. Good, then draw the chin towards the left underarm. And then the chin comes into the chest. One more towards the right. Moving slowly, pausing in each part of the rotation through the neck. So we really start to feel what's going on. Notice where we potentially might be a little bit more tight, restricted in our movement. Good, and then once you've done that, taking 2 towards the left. Good, moving really slowly with that control, especially within the neck. We don't want to move the neck suddenly or too quickly. Just keeping that control. Good, one more towards the left. Good. And chin in towards the chest finally. As we come back to centre. Good. Release the right fingertips down to the mat. As we inhale, sweep the left arm up. Exhale, side bend to the right. Keep heavy through the sit bones. Good. Feeling this expansion, lengthening through the left side waist. Energy through the left arm, so we're nice and active. Good. Inhale to come to centre. Release the left fingertips down. As we inhale, find length through the right arm. Exhale over to the left. Good, so just start to bring your awareness to the physical body. Where are you feeling open? Maybe you're feeling more restriction this side. So just start to take note of where your awareness taking yourself inwards. Good, one more time either side. Release the right fingertips down, reach the left arm up. Exhale over. Good. Coming back through centre, release the left fingers down, reach up with the right, and then exhale. Good. And then coming back to centre. Good. So coming into our twist, bring the right hand to the left knee, left fingertips behind. Inhale to find length, and exhale, just come to a gentle twist, not forcing the body too much here, just getting that rotation through the spine. Staying nice and tall. Keep a gentle tuck of the chin. Good. And then start to draw the core in, so we're nice and active through the belly now. Good. And then coming back through centre. And then taking it to the other side. That inhale, find length. Then we twist and rotate, leading with the chest. Good. And then coming back to centre. Good. So taking our straps now. So we want to lengthen the strap out and take the strap in front of us. So we want the strap to be taut, so wherever you hold it is going to be dependent on your shoulder mobility. So the narrower the grip, the more intense it is through the shoulders. The wider the grip, the less intense. So if you've got any shoulder impingement, any shoulder issues, then it's better to go wider. So what we want to do is keep the strap nice and taut. Keep drawing the upper ribs in the belly in, especially as when we come to the shoulder movement. It's very easy to flare out through the ribs, so keep everything in. As we inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Keep squeezing, drawing friction on the belt, so we're nice and active through the chest and the upper arms. Good, and then draw the arms slightly behind you, so we start to open through the chest. Good. If this is feeling enough, pause here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, then you can take the arms all the way back behind you, but using that strength, keep the belly drawing in, squeeze the shoulders and squeeze the chest. Good. So we get that full rotation through the shoulders. Inhale. Keep pulling on the strap so we're nice and active. And again, you can lengthen the strap as much as you need here. Good. And then you can also pause with the arms up, coming a little bit further back if that feels really nice through the chest. So just work with what your shoulders are telling you this morning. Good, so really vulnerable joints. We don't want to push the shoulder joint too much. Good, so working with that strength, squeeze the shoulders, especially as we come down, squeeze the upper arms. Nice, one more time and then we'll finish with the strap in front of us. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Keep that active engagement through the arms and the shoulders. Good. And then then release the strap to one side. Give the shoulders a roll backwards, maybe forward. Good, and then bring the arms out to the side, so roughly shoulder width, and then we're going to cross the right arm underneath the left. Bend into the elbows and either take the hands to the shoulders, the backs of the hands to touch, or bring the palms to touch. And then as we inhale, lift the elbows roughly in line with the shoulders and encourage the forearms away from the face. If this is uncomfortable though, then please don't do that. Just keep the elbows closer to the nose. It's just if you want to work deeper, then draw the forearms away. Good. Keep the shoulders soft, the chin slightly tucked. Coming into our eagle arms, and we're going to come to a little rotation. So draw the elbows in towards the stomach as we roll down through the spine, tuck the chin in towards the chest. Good. And then slowly take the elbows towards the left. Good. And then start to lift up with the upper body as we lift the elbows up, coming in a circular movement. Good. Almost imagine you're going through the clock face with the elbows, roughly at 3 o'clock now. And then draw the elbows in towards the stomach and then towards the right. Good. So we take the elbows towards 3 o'clock. Good. Reach the elbows up towards 12 o'clock, and then we come all the way across towards 9, and then back towards 6. Good. And then coming all the way up. Nice. Releasing the arms. And then we're going to take the left arm underneath the right, bend into the elbows, and come to a comfortable position for your shoulders, either hands to shoulders, backs of the hands to touch, or palms to touch. Lift the elbows up. Good. Draw the forearms away from the face if that's comfortable. Keep the chin tucked. Nice. And then draw the elbows towards the stomach as we round through the spine, finding space between the shoulders. And then we take the elbows towards 3 o'clock. Good. Getting a little bit more rotation through the spine as we then lift the elbows up towards 12. Maybe take the gaze up. Keep squeezing the core. Elbows come towards 9. Good. And then coming back to 6. Well done. And then taking it in the opposite direction. Elbows towards 9. Lifting all the way up towards midday. And then coming to 3 o'clock. Good. And then all the way to 6. And then slowly lift up, release the arms, and then just give the arms a little shake, bring some movement back into those arms. Good. So we're going to come to our tabletop now. So either roll over the knees or come to one side, whichever's most comfortable. And we're going to come to our cat-cow. So spread the fingers nice and wide. Just make sure that we're joint stacking for stability. Knees are underneath the hips. Option to tuck the toes or bring the tops of the feet down, whichever's most comfortable for you. As we inhale, tilt the pelvis, belly softens. As we draw the chest through the upper arms, shoulders soften. Good. Gaze either forwards or take the gaze up, but just listen to the neck. We want to avoid any cranking into the neck. Good. And then exhale, squeeze everything in. Chin into the chest, belly in towards the spine. Really press into the hands to get that opening between the shoulder blades. Good. And then you use the whole breath, so the whole inhale to bring us back through to our cow pose. Good. And then the whole exhale brings us to our angry cat. Nice. Either staying with your classic cat-cow or coming into some freestyle movements with some nice big hip circles, some figure of eights. Whatever feels good for your body this morning to ease, soften, release any tension. Just make sure that whatever you do, you balance the body side to side. Good. Getting into the hips maybe a little bit. There's an area that you want to pause in, and you can pause there. Good. Just a few more moments here before we come back to stillness. Good. And then when you're ready, come into your stillness. Tucking the toes under now. As we inhale, come to our cow pose. Exhale, come to your angry cat. Squeeze the core, press the hands into the mat, and then hover the knees about an inch off of the mat. So imagine you're just hovering the knees on a strawberry. We don't want to be all the way up here. We want to be nice and low towards the mat. Good. Keep drawing the chin in towards the chest. Belly draws it in. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release down. Inhale, coming to your cow pose. Exhale to your angry cat. Squeeze everything in. Hover the knees. Good. Really squeeze the core in. Feeling a shake is good. Here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release down. This time untuck the toes so the tops of the feet are down. Inhale to come to our cow pose. Exhale to our angry cat. Squeeze everything in. Press the tops of the feet down and then hover the knees and the shins off of the mat. Good. Keep drawing the belly in towards the spine. Chin in towards the chest. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release down. One more time. Inhale. Exhale to come to your angry cat. Squeeze everything in. Good. Hover the knees, hover the shins. Press the tops of the feet down. Squeeze the glutes. Well done. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release down. Come to sit back onto the heels. Good. And then give the arms a shake. Release through those wrists. Good. Okay, so we're going to come through our child's pose flow now. So keeping the knees roughly in line with the hips, and then come down into your child's pose. So bring the arms forwards, the forehead down. Option to bend the knees, bring the forearms down. Bend the elbows, bring the forearms down. Or you can walk the hands further forwards, lift the forearms, lift the elbows. But just listen to anything that's going on in the shoulders. It can be quite, you can get some impingement here when you lift the arms. So just listen to what's going on, not forcing the body. Good. As we inhale, ripple forwards to our low plank. So bring the shoulders slightly over the wrists. Squeeze the belly, squeeze the glutes. And as we exhale, start lowering down with control. So elbows bent, hug the arms to the midline of the body as we come all the way down to our tummies. Press the tops of the feet, the pubic bone down, squeeze the glutes as we inhale, come to our baby cobra. Shoulder blades draw together, chest broadens. Good. Maybe hover the arms just to check that we're strengthening the back here. Nice. Release the hands as we exhale, soften the head down. Inhale to press back onto the knees. Exhale into our child's pose. Good. 2 more like that. Inhale as we come forward. Squeeze the core. Everything's nice and strong. Almost think a mini angry cat with the shoulders. So we're not collapsing into the shoulder. We've got shoulder strength and stability. Lower down on the exhale. Good. Inhale comes to our baby cobra. Nice and active through the legs. So tops of the feet press down, pubic bone down. Just making sure that the glutes are squeezing. Exhale to release. Inhale to press back onto the knees. Exhale, come into our child's pose. Good. 1 more like that. Inhale to come forward. This time as we come down halfway, pause, hold. Good. Elbows in. Squeeze through the shoulders, squeeze the core. And then lower all the way down. Good. Inhale, maybe come a little bit higher. But just make sure that we're not putting all the weight through the hands. We want the back to be active here. Good. Exhale to release. Inhale back onto the knees. Exhale into our child's pose. Good. Inhale coming to our tabletop. We're going to come to our downward facing dog. Spread the fingers nice and wide, tuck the toes. As we squeeze the core, send the hips nice and high. Good. So keep a deep bend in the knees to start with. Finding that length through the spine. Pressing firmly into the fingertips. Gliding the shoulders towards the hips rather than towards the ears. Just let the head soften, so nod the neck. Nod the head yes and no, so we ease into the neck. And then start pedaling through the feet. So bending into one knee and then the other. You can deeply bend in both knees, come high on the tiptoes. Do whatever movement that feels good for your legs this morning. Good. finding that length. And then pausing and come to stillness. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core. Head is nice and soft. Bending the knees, gaze forwards, and we're going to walk the feet all the way to the top of the mat, coming into our ragdoll. So feet roughly hip-width distance apart, a deep bend in the knees, so we let that belly rest over the thighs. Head is heavy, soften the neck. Arms can either dangle down or take hold of opposite elbows. Maybe sway side to side, easing through the lower back, the shoulders. Can be nice to nod the head yes and no. Good. And then pause and come to stillness. Well done. And then release the hands down. Tuck the chin, squeeze the belly in. Keep the knees bent. And we're going to come up on the inhale unless you have low blood pressure, in which case come up on your exhale. So when we're ready, slowly unraveling the spine as we stack each part of the spine on top of each other. Head is the last thing. Arms are nice and soft, heavy. Good. Then when we get to the top of the mat, pausing here. Good. Coming to your Tadasana. So either keep the feet hip-width distance apart, or big toes can be touching with a little gap between the ankles. Turning the palms forward, broadening through the chest. Good. Squeeze the glutes, press into the outer edges of the feet. Maybe close down the eyes, just noticing how the body's feeling now we've come up to stand. Good. Maybe take the weight forwards and backwards just to find your centre of gravity. Good. And then pause where it feels neutral for you. Good. Bring the hands to your heart centre. As we inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And as we exhale, we're going to squeeze the core, use the hip flexors, bend the knees as we draw ourselves down to our forward fold. So we want to use that strength. Good. Into hip flexion to squeeze ourselves down. Inhale, come to your halfway lift. Core is active. Squeeze the hip flexors, squeeze the glutes. Good. Exhale to soften down. Inhale to come all the way up. Reach the arms up overhead. As we exhale, release the hands through heart center. Good. Two more, just a little bit quicker. Inhale. Maybe take the gaze up as we exhale, fold down to our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Good. Squeeze the core, squeeze the belly. As we exhale, release down. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, release the hands through heart center. Good. Last time. Inhale. Maybe come to a baby back bend. As we exhale, fold down. Good. Getting a little bit deeper each time, but trying to keep that belly thigh connection. So we want to use the hip flexors here. Bring the weight slightly forwards into the toes. Inhale for our halfway lift. Good. Exhale to release. This time we're going to plant the hands, step back to plank. Okay, so pause in our plank here. Feel nice and active through the upper body. So press into the hands so we're strong through the shoulders. Good. Squeeze the inner thighs, a gentle tuck of the tailbone. Broad through the chest though. Good. And we don't want to collapse the head down. So take the gaze slightly further forwards. Squeeze the inner thighs. Good. Squeeze the glutes. We're here for 5, 4. Of course, lower the knees down. 3, 2, 1. We're going to lower down to our tummies, either with the knees down or through full plank for a count of 5. So when we're ready, we're going to come down for 5, 4. Squeeze everything in. Belly's active. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Untuck the toes. Inhale, come to your cobra. So maybe come a little bit higher. If you're coming higher, now start thinking about activating through the upper body. So press the palms down, the heels of the hands down, and imagine you're drawing your hands towards your hips. So we're nice and active. Glutes are squeezing. Tops of the feet press down. Belly's active. As we exhale to release down. Good. Inhale, coming onto our knees. As we tuck the toes, exhale into downward facing dog. Good. So from our downward facing dog, squeeze the right glute, squeeze the core, and then hover the right foot off of the mat, flexing the foot slightly. Good. with that glute control, start to lift the right leg into the air, avoiding the lower back, drawing your leg up. So often our lower back does the work. Good, keep squeezing the glute and stop where you feel your lower back is going to take over. Okay, so from here, using your core strength, as we exhale, we're going to draw the right knee in towards the nose, coming to our three-legged plank. Good, squeeze. Inhale with that control. Try to avoid using momentum through the shoulders as we lift the right leg up. Good, exhale, squeeze the right knee in towards the right elbow. Good, we want to avoid any swinging movement here through the shoulders. So it's all that core control, shoulder strength as we inhale, draw that right leg up. Good. Exhale, squeeze the right knee across to the left elbow. Pause here, and then we're going to thread the right leg underneath the left arm, okay? Press firmly down through the right hand, spin onto the side of the left foot, so it's roughly at an angle 9 to 10 o'clock. As we inhale, press into the feet, lift the hips, lift the left arm up, coming into our fallen star. Gaze can either be down at the right hand, to the side, or up to the ceiling. Keep squeezing the glutes. And then from here, squeeze everything in towards the midline. We're going to glide that right leg back, coming into our side plank. Option, release the right knee down, okay? You can stack the feet on top of each other. Take the left foot in front. Just think about a piece of string, drawing the hip up nice and strong. And then if you want to, you can float that left leg into the air. Good. Pausing here, squeeze the glutes. We're here for 5, 4, strong through that right shoulder. Good. Release the left leg down. Coming back to our full plank and then coming through your vinyasa. So you can either come through cobra or full plank through half plank or full plank to cobra, or lower down halfway, flip the feet and come up to upward facing dog. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice, well done. Inhale here and exhale. Bringing your awareness to the left. Squeeze the left glute. Good. Squeeze the core. Float the left foot off of the mat. With the glute activation, flex the left foot. Slowly lift that left leg into the air as high as you can, just with that glute strength. Good. Exhale, left knee draws in towards the nose, using the core. Inhale to lift that left leg up. Good. Exhale, left knee, left elbow. Squeeze everything in, strong through the shoulders. Good. Inhale. Exhale, left knee, right elbow. Pause here. Thread the left leg underneath the right arm. Roll onto the side of the right foot. Press into the outer edge of the right foot. Strong through the left arm. So think about protracting. Cut through this shoulder. We want to avoid collapsing down. Squeeze the glutes as we inhale, reach right arm up. Lift the hips. Press into the feet. Good. And then from here, slide that left leg back, maybe bringing it down to the mat for your side plank, or stack the feet on top of each other, or bring the right foot forward. Whatever option feels good for you. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core, maybe float that right leg into the air. Good, nice and strong here. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release that right leg down, coming back to our full plank, coming through your vinyasa. Of course, always come back to child's pose. These vinyasas are always optional. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then we're going to come and rest in child's pose or bring the knees down, taking on a sip of water. Good. So building that heat strength within the body, increasing the heart rate. Well done. Okay, just 3 more breaths in your child's pose or your rest position. And then coming back to downward facing dog whenever feels good for you. So if you want to come back sooner, then great. If you want to rest a little bit more, then just work with how you're feeling. Okay, so one more breath. And then we're going to meet back in our downward facing dog. Okay, so let's meet in our downward facing dog. Send the hips nice and high, tuck the toes as we lift the hips up. Good. Okay, squeeze the right glutes. Flex the right foot, hover the right foot off of the mat. Just make sure that the shoulders don't creep up towards the ears. We want to glide the shoulders down. Squeeze the glute as we slowly lift that right leg into the air with control. Use the core. Good. Exhale, hug the right knee in towards the nose. Can we hug the thigh a little closer towards the chest? Good. Gaze forwards, flex the right foot. Lightly step the right foot to the top of the mat. Good. Before we go anywhere, just find your base, find your strength. So press down through that right foot, right knee roughly over the ankle, and the ankles and the knees are roughly in line with the hips. So we're thinking about that line down. Good. Squeeze the inner thighs. Imagine you're drawing the feet towards each other, so we're isometrically contracting through the thighs and the inner thighs. Squeeze the core as we inhale, come up to our high lunge. Okay, so nice and active through that left leg. Grow tall, so use the core to find that length. Everything draws in, we're nice and strong. Good. Squeezing the glutes. Inhale here. Then as we exhale, we tip, hinge forwards with the upper body. Good. Reaching the arms beside you, bringing the arms behind you, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Active through the arms, so we're almost at an angle with the upper body, going down in a nice line towards the left ankle. Squeeze the core as we inhale, come up to our high lunge. Good. Exhale. Tipping forwards, hinge at the hips as we squeeze the arms behind us. Good. Inhale. Nice. One last time. Exhale. Inhale, coming all the way up. As we exhale, release the hands down, step back to plank, coming through an optional vinyasa, or you can pause in plank, come to child's pose, or downward facing dog. Good. Exhale, meet in downward facing dog. Okay, so coming to the left, fire up the left glute, flex the left foot, slowly draw that left leg into the air, strong through the shoulders. Good. Gazing forward as we draw the left knee with that core control towards the nose. Hug the thigh a little closer towards the chest. Good. Lightly step the left foot to the top of the mat. Ground down. Squeeze the inner thighs. Draw the left heel back, the right foot forward. Squeezing the core as we inhale, float up to our high lunge. Good. Glutes are firing. Inner thighs draw together. Inhale here. Exhale, hinge at the hips as we sweep the arms behind us, nice and active through the shoulders. Good. Inhale. Lifting up. Nice. As we exhale. Good. One more time. Inhale. Reach up. Exhale, come back. Good. Squeeze the shoulders together. Inhale to come all the way up. Nice and active, controlled. As we exhale, release the hands down. Step back to plank, come through. No, we're not going to come through a vinyasa, sorry. We're going to lower down to our tummies. So lowering all the way down, either with the knees down or through full plank. Good. And here, just bring one hand on top of the other. Soften the legs and let the forehead rest, so we're creating a pillow, okay? Soften the shoulders, soften the legs. Good, soften the glutes. Just 2 more breaths here. Good. Okay, so coming into our locus variation. So first locus, either keep the legs a hip width distance apart if you know you've got anything going on in the lower legs or anything like that. If not, imagine you're going into a mermaid's tail. So you're squeezing the legs together, squeezing towards the midline. Arms come down beside you with the palms facing in. And to start with, just press the tops of the feet, the pubic bone down, squeeze the glutes. And then as we inhale, draw the shoulder blades together, lift the arms, draw the chest off of the mat. Good, lift the head. If this is comfortable, then float the legs off of the air. No, float the legs into the air. Good, so stay nice and active, keep squeezing the glutes. Lift through the front thighs, shoulder draws together. Good, and then release down. Take the right ear to the mat and gaze out to the left. Soften the legs, soften the arms. Good. Well done. Just one more breath here. Good, okay. And then you can come to that variation we've already done, or for more of a core challenge, reach the arms in front of you. So the setup is the same, either feet hip width distance apart or squeeze legs together. And as we inhale, press the pubic bone down, tops of the feet down, squeeze the glutes as we lift the upper body off of the mat. Good, if this is okay, then lift the legs. If the arms are lifted, being active through the arms. So imagine you're reaching the arms forwards, wrapping the biceps, squeeze the shoulders. Good, we're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release down. Bring the left ear to the mat this time. Arms come down beside you. Good. Soften through the shoulders, soften the neck, the lower back, the glutes. Everything softens here before we come into our last variation. So you can come into either of the variations that we've done, or bringing your block or your book or your prop equivalent. We're going to place the block between the palms with the fingers overhanging. So before we go anywhere, think about the legs activating. Squeeze the block between the palms, so then we fire up through the chest and the inner arms. Good. Then as we inhale, lift the arms, keep squeezing the block, then lift the legs. Good. Come into any variation, keep active through the block if you've got hold of the block. Good. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Release down. This time, form a pillow with the head to rest down. Soften the legs, soften the shoulders. Good. Pausing here. Deep breath in and exhale to release. Good. One more breath here. Good. And then bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Press up onto our hands and knees. Tuck the toes, and we're going to come into our downward facing dog. So lift the hips. Good. And from our downward facing dog, just take a moment to pedal through the legs. Good. Well done. Okay, so from here, squeeze the core, squeeze the right glute as we float the right leg into the air with that glute strength. Gazing forward, lightly step the right foot to the top of the mat. Release the left knee down. So this is when you might need your blocks. Okay, so we're going to come into our low lunge, but with an active engagement here. So press the right foot down. Think about the right knee being over the ankle, and we want to just come off of the left knee. So roll onto the quadriceps. So try to avoid direct pressure onto the knee joint itself. Good. And then from here, you can stay with the hands down. You can bring the blocks either side to lift you up. But what we want to do, squeeze the glutes and scissor the inner thighs together. So imagine you're drawing the right heel back and the left knee forward. So we've got this deep activation going on through the inner thighs. We're squeezing the glutes, strengthening through the joints. Good. Length through the spine. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and soften. Maybe find a little bit more length as you glide the left knee back slightly. Good, and then pause here in this passive stretch, opening through the left hip flexor, softening the hips. We want to stay a little bit active through the glutes. Good, not just collapsing through our joint. Good. One more breath here. Well done. And then we're going to take the hips back, coming into our half monkey. So draw the right toes up, scissor the inner thighs together. Try to avoid the right hip shooting out to the side. So think about squeezing everything to the midline. Little micro bend into the right knee. Good. And then similar to the other side, to the lunge, we're going to do this actively. So press the right heel down and imagine you're drawing the right heel to the back of the mat, okay? Squeezing the hip flexor, good, nice and active, belly's active. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release down as we inhale, find length, and then exhale, maybe hinge forwards, folding over that right leg. Keeping nice and strong, so toes facing up towards the ceiling. Engaging through that front thigh, so we're nice and active, strengthening the joints, finding flexibility, mobility. Good. Inhale to come to our low lunge. Good. Walk the blocks a little bit further forwards. Exhale to our half monkey. Good. You can change the block settings if you want. Good. Inhale to our low lunge. Exhale to our half monkey. Good. This time coming forward to our low lunge. You can keep the blocks or release the blocks. Lift the left knee coming into our runner's lunge. So try to avoid collapsing the hips down. Squeeze everything in so we're nice and strong. Inner thighs are active. This is our inhale. Our exhale is find a little bit of length through that right leg as we send the hips up, folding over. Don't force the knees straight here on the right. Scissor the inner thighs. Again, nice and active. So draw the right heel back, left foot forwards. Good. Inhale to come forwards to our runner's lunge. Exhale to come back. Good. Well done. Inhale to come forwards. Exhale to come back. Inhale to come forwards. Ground the hands. Step back to plank. Come through your optional vinyasa. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. Well done. Nice. Bringing your awareness to the left. Squeeze the left glutes, flex the left foot, hover the left foot off of the mat. Shoulders are soft. Squeeze the glutes as we lift that left leg into the air. Good. Core is nice and active. Gaze forward, step the left foot to the top of the mat, release the right knee down. Okay, so bringing your blocks. Press the left foot down, left knees are roughly over the ankle. Good. Draw the right knee forwards, coming over, so coming above the kneecap, left heel draws back. So we're nice and active through the inner thighs, then lifting up if you want to, pressing down onto the blocks. We're nice and active through the lower legs. Glutes are squeezing, front thighs are active. Good. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Soften as we passively get deeper into the stretch. Maybe lengthen that right knee back just a little bit more. You might be able to find a bit more space now. And then softening down. So allow gravity to draw the hips down, but keep the glutes engaged. Okay, so we're not just drawing down onto the ligaments, tendons. We're active here. Good. And then from here, sending the hips back as we find length into the left leg coming into our half monkey. Good. Flex the left foot. Keep a little micro bend in the left knee. Draw the hips into the center. Press the left heel down and draw the left heel back towards you. So we're nice and active, firing up through the hamstrings. Squeeze the core. Good. That's it. So we want to stay active here. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Soften. Inhale to find length. Exhale, you might be able to find a little bit more depth over that left leg. Good. Keep strong through the flexed foot. Lift through the front thighs so we're active. Good. Squeeze the hip flexors. The hip flexors want to be active here. Good. As we inhale, come to our low lunge. Good. Exhale to come back to our half monkey. Good. Squeeze as we come forwards with the inhale. Exhale to come back. done. Inhale to come forwards. Release the blocks, or you can keep the blocks. Lift the right knee into our runner's lunge. Pause here, left foot draws back, right foot draws forward, scissoring the inner thighs, not dropping the hips down. Squeeze everything in so we're strong. This is our inhale. Our exhale is send the hips back, find a little bit of length through that left leg as we fold over. Keeping that strength, so it's more important to have a bent knee, but we're working with strength than pressing down and locking through that knee joint. Good. Inhale to come forwards. Exhale to come back. Nice. Inhale to come forwards. Last time. Exhale to come back. Inhale to come forwards. Ground the hands, step back to plank, coming through an optional vinyasa. Keep everything nice and active, especially towards the end of practice where you might feel a little bit more tired. It's really important to keep that engagement. Okay, so from here, squeeze the right glute as we float the right leg into the air. Good. Step the right foot to the top of the mat. Lengthen, release the left knee down. So taking your blocks, we're going to find a little bit more length, but with strength here, working towards our full monkey, so our full splits, but with strength rather than just collapsing in. Okay, so from here, send the left leg back a little bit more. Draw the left knee forward. So we're squeezing the glutes, squeezing the front thigh. Good. Maybe find a little bit more length with that right leg as we creep it forward. Then start to flex into the right foot, so we're nice and active here. Good. Draw the right heel back. Nice. Pausing here. Using the blocks. You might be able to find a little bit more length with that left knee as you glide it back. Good. So not forcing the body here. We want to work actively. Maybe walk that right foot a little bit further forwards. Good, but keeping that strength when you get to that new place. So right heel draws back, left knee draws forward, scissoring the inner thighs. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the core. So we're protecting our joints here. Good. Then maybe a little bit further without locking the knee. Good. And then wherever you can go to, if you've got full splits in your practice, then of course come down, but we want to stay with that strength here, okay? So softening the hips, but without locking through the knees. We want to focus on that hip strength to get us into the pose rather than just relying on our muscles. Okay, we're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm coming out, lifting up, good. Draw the right foot back in slowly, coming to your low lunge, well done. And then we're going to ground the hands down, step back to downward facing dog. So lift the hip, lift the left knee, come to your down dog and bring a little bit of weight through the legs. So pedaling through the feet, good. And then pause here. Inhale to flex the left foot, squeeze the left glute to float the left leg into the air. Good. Gaze forwards, lightly step the left foot to the top of the mat. Release the right knee down. Finding your blocks. Good. So using that strength to get a little bit more space here. So we've worked on a lot of glute strength today. So squeeze the right glute. Maybe find a little bit more length through that right front thigh. Good. Left foot draws back, right knee draws forwards. Pause here, use that active engagement. Good. Then maybe creep the left foot further forwards, find more length, but then flex into the left foot. So we're nice and strong. Left heel draws back this time, so we're strong through the hamstrings, the hip flexors. Good. Maybe a little bit more space with that right leg, or that right knee. Squeeze the glute. Maybe walk that left foot further forward. Good. Going to where you can keep that control, where you can keep that activation. Good. Nice and strong, building that heat fire within the hips. Good, keep that activation. Left heel draws back, right knee draws forwards. Softening the hips, not forcing the body here. Good. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pressing yourself up, draw that left foot back into your low lunge. Good. Ground the hands, tuck the right toes and step back to downward facing dog. Well done. Bringing a little bit of movement through the hips. Good work. That's it. Well done. Optional last flow if you want to, or you can come down to child pose. You can pause and plank for a little bit more heat energizing work. Just listen to the body. Good. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Good. And then from here, walk, step or float to the top of the mat in a seated position. Okay, so taking your strap, we're going to come into a forward fold. So 2 forward folds. Our first one's active with the strap, the second one's passive. So releasing the flesh parts from underneath the sit bones, growing nice and tall. Good. Flexing the feet nice and active through the legs. And then taking the strap around the balls of the feet. As we inhale to find that length, growing tall, soften the shoulders. Good. And then as we exhale, think about tilting the pelvis slightly. So anteriorly tilting the pelvis. Squeeze the hip flexors, hinge at the hips as we lead with the chest. So try to avoid the head coming down towards the knees. We want the chest to draw towards the feet, okay? Good. So try to get that belly-thigh connection, similar to what we were doing in the standing forward folds. Good, nice and active, shoulders soft. Taking the breath to wherever you're feeling it in the legs. So you may feel this lower down, you may feel this around the hips, the hamstrings. Good. And then the inhale, come back you out slightly. The exhale finds a little bit more space and softness, opening through the lower back. Good. 2 more breaths here. Nice, slowing everything down. Good. Then release the strap, bring the legs like about hip width distance and allow the legs to go completely soft here. So from here we're going to tuck the chin in towards the chest and then just allow the spine to curve down. Good, so we're not forcing the body here, just a natural curvature allowing gravity to draw us down, opening through the back of the body. So you might even feel this in the neck if you're tight there. The shoulders, we're opening the posterior chain fascially, deeply. So just work, so breathe into wherever you're feeling it. You might feel this around the hips, the hamstrings. Good. Two more breaths here. Well done. And then slowly rising up. Good, and then we're going to come down onto our back. So optional for a roll down. If you want to just come down and rest, then please do so. If you're coming through the roll down, reaching the arms forwards, palms facing in, squeeze the belly in towards the spine, tuck the chin. Good, and then really slowly, with control, placing each part of the spine down onto the mat. Good, with extra bit of core work. If you think your belly's squeezed in, pull it in a little bit more. Imagine you've got some string from your spine, drawing that belly in. Good. And then when you get down, give yourself a full stretch. Reach the arms up overhead, lengthen the legs out. Good, well done. And then hug the knees in towards the chest. Give yourself a little rock and roll over the back of the spine. Good. And then come to stillness. And then we're going to release the legs down, take the right ankle on the left thigh, goalpost the arms, and then take the legs towards the left. Okay, so you can either pause here if you just want to work through the twist. If you want to work into a deeper outer right hip opener, think about that left knee coming to 90 degrees, coming towards higher up towards the face, the right foot facing down to the floor and encouraging the right knee towards the ceiling. Just listen to what's going on in the knee, because this can be quite, especially if you've got tight hips, this can then refer around your knee. So just listen to what's going on. You don't want any shooting pain, any pulling or anything like that. You shouldn't be feeling this in the knee itself, just around the hip. Good. 2 more breaths here. And we're done. Squeeze the core as we draw the legs back to center. Release the feet. Just make sure that we're centered in the middle of the mat. And then coming to the other side. Left ankle to the right thigh. Legs come over to the right. Either keep with the twist as it is, or for a hip opener, draw the right knee up roughly 90 degrees as we take that left knee out, goalposting the arms and taking the breath around this left hip. Good. Close the eyes maybe. Softening everything down. Slowing the heart rate. Good. 2 more breaths here. Good. And then squeeze the belly as we come back to center. Release the legs. Good. And then optional happy baby, or you can come straight into your Shavasana. So completely up to you what you choose to do. I'm going to start guiding you into Shavasana, so if you're going into happy baby, join us when you are ready. So closing down the eyes once you come to your Shavasana, finding a place that's comfortable for you. So your legs can be up the wall, you can keep a bend in the knees, bring the legs out long. And then bring the arms down beside you with the palms facing up, softening through the shoulders. And then bringing your awareness to your neck, the shoulders, the hips, all areas we often subconsciously hold on to, and just give yourself permission to release into these areas. And then closing down the eyes, and then find your stillness in silence. Allow the body to just be. Be here today, dedicating this time back to yourself. We've done the physical practice. And then coming into the most important part of any yoga class, the relaxation. So close the eyes, just allow the body to be. And start to bring your awareness back into the room, back into your physical body. Just moving gently, starting with bringing some movement to the fingers, the toes, the wrists and the ankles. Good. And then reaching the arms up overhead, giving yourself a full body stretch. So as if you're waking yourself up in the morning, moving mindfully, slowly. Good. And then hug the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a big hug. Thanking yourself for dedicating this last hour to both your mind and your body. And then slowly roll to the right hand side, keeping the eyes closed and pressing yourself up to a seated position, either cross-legged or kneeling. Finding a place that's comfortable for you. And then when you're there, bring your hands to your heart center. Good, your Anjali Mudra. And then bring the hands to the crown of the head for kind thoughts and positivity. Bringing your hands to your lips for kind words and honesty. And bringing your hands to your heart center for love and compassion to yourself and all other beings. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Have a lovely rest of your day. Namaste.